Hey y'all, I'm Abby. I'm the Abs of Adventure with Abs. So you're thinking about signing up for a Run Disney race. We obviously think it's a great choice, but if you're trying to decide, hey, is a Run Disney race for me? Is it fun? Why should I sign up? Should I sign up? I'm here to tell you some 4 key reasons that will help you decide. Like Run Disney's not for everybody. We think that it's fantastic, but let's talk about it. So the first thing is, what is Run Disney? What's the fun part? Why is it so exciting? Why are so many people obsessed with Run Disney? Well, you get to run through the parks. I'm talking Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios. Depending on which race you sign up for, which weekend you sign up for, that's going to determine your course, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you get to run through the most magical place on earth. Like, who doesn't want to do that? Another important thing is there's character stops for all the races. So think of your favorite characters, think of rare characters that maybe you didn't even know existed. Those are going to be some character stops during the races. It's a really cool experience. We run in costume. Funny story, the first time that we ran a Run Disney race, my husband was all about running in costume with me. We got on the bus, and the only other person did have on like his Boston Marathon dry tech like finisher shirt. And my husband looked at me like I thought this was people in costume, and I was like, "Don't worry, when we get there, you'll see." And sure enough, so many people in costumes. But once again, if you just want to run in athletic wear, still fine. The medals are amazing, really amazing, magical, all the characters on them, depending on the theming of the race. And then one of the things that's really won us over is the Run Disney community. So it's like a family. We've made some of our best friends in life, standing in line to meet characters during a race. Like, I don't know, it's just lifelong friendships that we made through Run Disney. So if any of that sounds great to you, then you are already thinking about signing up for Run Disney, and I hope this is already pointing you towards yes. But let's talk a little bit more now about who it's for versus who it's not for. All right, so who is Run Disney for? It's definitely for people who love Disney magic, who are just Disney adults, Disney families. Because like I said, you're running through the parks, you're meeting characters. It's a great opportunity for anyone who wants to just be in Disney more, see a different side of Disney because you get to run backstage some for it. It's also great for families. So the 5K age limit is 5 years old. The 10K age limit is 10 years old. So if you've got kids that would qualify for running those based off of their age, then it's a really good family opportunity. The 5K is also the only one that does not have a pacing requirement, is not timed. So if you love Disney, Disney Magic, and you're really trying to start your fitness journey of, you've never ran before, you're trying to get more in shape, start like a whole fitness journey, but you're really worried about not being able to finish a race or not being able to keep up with the like pacing requirement. The 5K is made for you. So we highly recommend signing up for that as a starter place, just because, like I said, there's no pacing requirement. So you get out there, you do your best. There will still be medical tents available that if something happens where you're not able to keep going, then you will still have options. We don't want that to be something that stresses you out. Um, there's so much help on course. There's so much encouragement. Like I said a minute ago, the Run Disney community is amazing. There's so much love and just encouragement there. One thing that goes without saying though is that not every race and not every person is going to have the best attitude. So be prepared that some people, they might not be everything that I'm saying. And that comes into of who it's not for is some people, they choose a Run Disney race as their PR. Some of our best friends actually do have their PRs from Disney events. Like they have had their fastest race, their personal record is a Disney event. But if you're coming into a Run Disney race and that is your only reason for signing up for it, then that may not be the race for you because they are going to be more crowded. There's going to be a lot of people there that are not as experienced of runners. And so that is going to add to your frustration of trying to just run as fast as you can. Also, it is on the expensive end. So, in our opinion, we paid all this money to be in Disney. We are going to maximize our time out on that course and enjoy being in Disney. Like, we are going to get our dollar per mile, I guess you could say, instead of trying to just sprint to the end of it. Like I said, we do have friends that have PR'd before, but just be aware that if you're only signing up for a race to see how fast you can run, then Disney may not be for you. We try to PR and fun. That's what most people are down there for. So just a heads up that just might not be the race for you if that's your only goal in signing up for this race. All right, so how I mentioned with the people that are wanting to get into kind of the fitness journey aspect of it and being afraid of not keeping up with the pacing requirement, let's talk about what those pacing requirements are. So every Run Disney race, that's the 10K, the 10 miler, the half, and the full, so everything except for the 5K, those are going to have a 16-minute per mile pacing requirement. So with that, you have to maintain, like, your mile has to be at least a 16-minute pace, and that includes bathroom stops, character stops. So you really, if you're planning on stopping for anything like that, you really want to make sure that you're training at a faster mileage time instead of that minimum one, because otherwise you're not really going to have time to make those stops. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like I said, the 5K does not having a pacing requirement. So with that, that's a really good starter place. If you are concerned about meeting that pacing requirement, a 5K is a great place to start off with. But those other ones, just be aware that if you fall behind that pacing requirement, we have, I'm sure, if you're in any of the Run Disney groups, you've seen any posts about it, you've heard of the balloon ladies. The balloon ladies are actually incredibly sweet people. We're friends with them. They are the visual for that 16-minute mile pace. So if they catch up to you, that means that if you're staying with them, you are right there at that pace. If you fall behind them, there are what are called hard sweet points that if you stay with the balloon ladies or you're able to catch back up to them before those hard sweets, you're good. You keep going. If not, then they will have some guys on bikes, they will have some buses, and they will tell you that we're sorry, you can no longer continue in this race. You will get put on the bus where they will give you your medal, your Powerade, a place to sit down that's air conditioned, and they will take you to the reunion lot area where it's just past the finish line. You'll get to see all of your friends again. All right, so our last big thing of you're thinking about signing up for Run Disney, should I, and if so, which weekend should I sign up? Let's talk a little bit about the different weekends. So right now, Walt Disney World is the only Disney resort location that is having Run Disney races. We just finished Disneyland for the last one. Hopefully those will be coming back. But as of right now, it's just Walt Disney World. So let's talk about the 4 different weekends that are hosted there for Run Disney. So Wine and Dine is kind of what kicks off the Run Disney season. That is typically in October. It's called Wine and Dine, and it's very much themed around like the Food and Wine Festival. It takes place during the festival. The themes are usually related to food or to Epcot, something along those lines is the typical theming. The theming does change every year. But for this weekend, there is a 5K, a 10K, and a half. And then there is a challenge called the 2-horse challenge that includes the 10K and the half. So whenever you sign up for a challenge, your registration includes the 10K and the half for this specific challenge, which means you will have your 10K registration, your half registration. You will get a t-shirt and medal for both of those, but you will also get the t-shirt and medal for the challenge itself. So like this upcoming Wine and Dine, the 10K is the Three Caballeros, the half is the Mary Poppins Penguins, and the challenge is Grumpy. So Grumpy encompasses both of those themes plus an additional shirt and medal. If you sign up for the 10K and the half individually, you run both, but you do not get that challenge shirt or challenge medal. Also with Wine and Dine, a special event is that there is an after party on Sunday night after the half, and your half bib registration, that gets you into it. So whether you sign up for the half by itself or you sign up for the challenge, if you ran the half, then you have a ticket included in that to the after party, and you can purchase tickets for your family and friends if they want to come to that after party with you. So that's Wine and Dine. Like I said, 5K, 10K half. The challenge is the 10K and the half. And a big thing to know is that this is the only half in Walt Disney World that does not run to Cinderella's castle. So I know a lot of people, that's something that you've heard about Run Disney, something you want to do. The Wine and Dine half typically runs around Hollywood Studios and Epcot. So just keep that in mind that this is the only half that does not run to Cinderella's castle if that's something that's important to you. All of the 5Ks typically run around Epcot. The 10Ks are usually around Epcot with a little bit on like the Boardwalk and Yacht Club. And then we'll talk about the other courses as we go through the other weekends. So the next race weekend of the Run Disney season is Marathon Weekend, and that is typically the first weekend of January after New Year's. So it's not going to be over New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, but it will be that next weekend of January. Now, this is our personal favorite, and it is the only race weekend of Run Disney that includes a full marathon. So this one will have a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a full marathon 4 days in a row. The 5K and 10K are going to be same or similar courses as those that I discussed at Wine and Dine. The half marathon, this is going to be your first one of the season that runs to Cinderella's Castle. You get to run through it, run back to Epcot. There's a lot of road running versus park time, but you do get to run through the castle, and that makes it worth it to a lot of people. Um, Sunday is the big event. That is our full marathon, and the full marathon runs through all 4 parks. So you start in Epcot, run to Magic Kingdom, run to Animal Kingdom, run to Hollywood Studios, run back to Epcot, and it's a really cool experience to get to run through all 4 parks. And Disney does a really great job of the characters, like I said, being spaced along the whole thing on like those road parks, the in and out. It's definitely one of our favorite weekends. The challenges for this weekend, there's the Goofy Challenge, that is the half marathon and the full marathon. And then the Dopey Challenge is all 4 races. So if you run Dopey, you also get that Goofy shirt and Goofy medal. And then you end up with 6 medals if you're able to finish it. One important thing to note is how I said earlier with the pacing requirements that if you do get swept and put on a bus that you get your medal. That does not include the challenge medals. So that is the individual race medal, but you are no longer eligible for the challenge medals. Those are only possible if you finish the races. And if you finish the marathon, you also get a special set of finisher Mickey ears. So another really cool experience. The third weekend of the Walt Disney World Run Disney season is Princess. This one is typically in February, and it is always princess themed. So they alternate which princesses they use. It's very much a girls' weekend. Guys are not excluded, but you will see a lot more women out there. Everyone in their princess dresses. We've actually dressed as sidekicks before for the princesses. Some dress as villains. But it's a very big princessy, poofy, glittery weekend. The races for this one are the 5K, 10K, and half, with the Fairy Tale Challenge for the 10K and half, and that is the half will also go through the castle for Princess Weekend as well. So while this weekend has your 5K, 10K, and half, there's no after party and there's no full marathon, but this is your first weekend that has yoga. So it's sunrise yoga. It has been at Cinderella's Castle. It has also been in Hollywood Studios. So we'll wait for registration and race announcements to find out which location it's going to be at this time. Our fourth and final Run Disney weekend at Walt Disney World is Springtime Surprise. And it's called Surprise because the themes are very much a surprise. They are kind of all over the place. They're typically associated with each other in some form or fashion, but they are just very random ones. This is a lot of people's favorites because of how different the theming can be, that you can get some rare characters, you can get like some Disney niche type theming. So it's definitely one that a lot of people look forward to just because of the surprise theming. It is also the shortest race distance for the Run Disney event. So this one is another 3-day event. It's the 5K, 10K, and instead of a half marathon, it's a 10-miler, which follows a similar course as the Wine and Dine half, but is 3.1 miles shorter. So this one has a challenge as well, but for the first time, it includes all 3 races. It is the 5K, the 10K, and the 10-miler. So while Wine and Dine and Princess, the 5K is not included in your challenge bib, at Springtime it is. But you also have your 10-miler, shorter than a half marathon. So if you're wanting to get into that long distance running, you're not ready to commit to a half or a full, a 10-miler is a great place to start. This weekend is typically in April, so it can be a little warm, but it's usually a really great experience. Shorter courses, the fact that you can get all 3 bibs in one challenge win is just another added bonus for everyone. So those are our race weekends, those are our courses, our challenges, a little bit of a breakdown of why Run Disney is the most magical place to run and who these races are really made for. So I hope this video has helped you decide if Run Disney is the right decision for you. And if it is, then I hope that you'll subscribe and follow, because my next video is going to be registration tips to help you get in for these races that I hope you've decided that you want to be part of too. So don't forget to subscribe and follow if that sounds like you, and have a magical day. Thanks for watching.